Now, I'll be the first to admit that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I like my projects to turn out the best they possibly can, and I do my utmost to try and make that happen. But sometimes, especially when I'm doing projects for myself, I get caught in this loop of perfectionism and procrastination. I want everything to be perfect, but I know it's not possible, so I end up procrastinating instead and just not doing it at all. Procrastination is just the worst. Knowing that by not doing something now, you're going to make it harder for yourself in the future is just a terrible feeling that I'm sure you've felt too. But a while back, I read a couple of phrases that really stuck with me and have kind of formed the foundation of my philosophy around productivity. So the first one is done is better than perfect. And you might think that I'm saying I cut corners or I don't put my full effort in to try and make things work, but that's not the case. It's maybe easier if I explain it like this. If you were trying to learn to play an instrument, like the guitar, you could wait until you could afford a really nice acoustic guitar, and then find an amazing teacher who will guide you through the process of learning. I'm sure it would be fantastic, but it could take ages, so you could speed up that process by asking around your friends and family if they have a guitar, or buying a cheap second-hand one online. Not only will it start that process quicker, but you'll also know whether you want to even save up for an expensive guitar, as you'll be able to figure out whether it's something you enjoy or not. As a filmmaker, I sometimes feel myself thinking that my projects have to get to a certain stage before I can really commit to them. I think that all the pieces need to fall into place before I can have a project that I'm proud of. In reality, I'm far more proud of finishing a project and finding out how I can improve the next one. Take, for example, the first short film that I was a part of as DOP, the Significant Lives. I came onto the project quite late, and I barely even had a shot list before we started production. In total, we ended up shooting the project for about 14 days and ended up with a 33-minute long short film. I learned so much. Had we gone in fully prepped, then yes, the project as a whole probably would have been better, but boy oh boy was it a learning experience. Heading up pretty much all the technical aspects of shooting the film on my own was a bit daunting, and we didn't really have many crew members to help out, so I was delegating to cast members when they weren't in a scene. It was pretty crazy. But really, done is better than perfect just means getting stuck in now, without hesitating and without second-guessing yourself. It allows you the freedom to make mistakes and mess things up. Just know that the first thing you do probably won't be great, but you'll know what to do differently for the next time. Don't let the fear of mistakes stop you from creating and developing as a filmmaker, or just as a person. Just get going, and don't let anyone stop you from exercising your right to create. Now, the other phrase that really stuck with me is sometimes less is more. And this can also be misconstrued or used in the wrong way. And I'm not saying that you should do less or try to be less. Instead, just think of it as a way to focus. Creating and finishing is important, but biting off more than you can chew means you might choke. Whether it's shortening the length of your overall project or reducing the number of cast or locations needed, giving yourself the opportunity to do the simple things right is important. On The Significant Lives, we had to cut a hefty amount from the script. It was still a really ambitious project just by the length alone. But in reality, we probably only had the resources to make a really impactful 10-minute film, not the 33-minute film it turned out to be. I'm glad I was involved, and I wouldn't change that experience at all because it was a really formative one for me. Doing the whole thing again now, I know exactly what I would do differently. From better planning in pre-production to better lighting setups during the shoot. I think something else that's really important to understand is that simple doesn't mean bad. Often when starting out you think, oh, I really need those flashy extras or that world building to make the story really sell. But if you break it down to its core concept and it's not good, it's probably not going to succeed. The same overcomplicating can be found in the equipment you use to film it. I've gone on and on before about that feeling of needing to upgrade your gear so that you can shoot in a particular way. But if you strip back all of that equipment to just the essentials, you can really just focus on the story and not everything else that's clouding your judgment around it. Having a simple idea, executing it well and in an achievable time frame is just the dream. And if you can repeat that, challenging yourself slightly more each time, you'll end up with a really impressive bunch of projects and a really impressive set of skills. Now, it's not always the case that less is more, and it can be difficult to know when to simplify or when to push further. but that comes with time and experience. Combining the two philosophies can help with that. Getting started and continuing is the goal, so if you need to, start overly simple. Let the urge to do bigger and better things come from the experience of doing the simple things really well. I hope you can take something away from this and maybe see the world from a different point of view. If you enjoyed this video, why not check out this one about a super affordable cinema camera. Thanks for watching.